Right now it's 6. From the roads to the rails to the skies, the holiday travel rush is picking up.
We'll have you sitting real close to your bags.
We'll meet a couple turning their Thanksgiving trip into a major life move.
We thought about for a while, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna go on the train and see how it goes.
Plus, smoke fills a downtown San Francisco BART station.
This explosion, boom.
What we're learning about the fire on the tracks that impacted service for hours.
I've lived in the city for over 30 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this.
And the search for health care in an industry notorious for instability.
You're paid $2.13 an hour. There are no benefits.
We'll introduce you to a restaurant worker enjoying medical support through a Bay Area startup. And later, the record-breaking price for an old comic book found in a San Francisco attic.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. 48 hours from now, millions of Bay Area residents will be with their families, stuffed with Thanksgiving turkey. But first, they have to get there. Thanksgiving travel is ramping up, and experts are expecting record numbers. AAA projects nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles to their destination. The overwhelming majority will drive or fly. But plenty of travelers are expected to take advantage of other modes of travel. In fact, Amtrak is predicting a record number of people will take the train this year. Our Kenny Choi heard from travelers navigating the rush. He joins us live now from the Oakland Amtrak station. So, Kenny, how's it been out there?
Julia, it's been busy. You might not be able to see it right now because the train just departed, but the Thanksgiving travel rush is kicking into high gear. Amtrak is expecting higher numbers this year. Now, for many folks, getting to their destinations may be a little bit more challenging, but in the end, it's all worth it. The rush is on as people try to get to Thanksgiving plans as quickly as they can. But for Armando Maravilla and his fiancée Gloria Martinez, they need a little more time. Both are blind.
I'm pretty sure it catches a lot of people off guard to see that happening.
This is their first time traveling on their own and boarding an Amtrak train.
We thought about for a while, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna go on the train and see how it goes.
It's a bit nervous for me, being blind and traveling independently, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good experience.
More than 1.1 million customers traveled on Amtrak trains during the Thanksgiving travel period last year, a 4.2% increase from the year before. The company is expecting record-breaking numbers this year. Olivia Irvin is a spokesperson for Amtrak.
You kind of let someone else take the wheel and take you where you want to go to see a loved one, which is really nice. So you're not going through security, you're not sitting in traffic. It's a really relaxing experience, and you get to see the beautiful views of the country.
For travelers like Tariq Ansari, this will be a short ride to Sacramento.
I'm coming for 2 reasons: to see my family, but most importantly, to help make the hummus, because without me, it doesn't taste as good.
Aboard! But this trip for Armando and Gloria isn't just to see family for Thanksgiving. They packed extra suitcases, sold their belongings, and are leaving the Bay Area for the Central Valley to start a new life together in Fresno.
I like it here, but, you know, the whole not being able to afford it here is just, it's a bit hard because it's really nice here.
Boarding train 714?
Rushing to board their train at Jack London Square Station in Oakland, they found much needed help. Assistant conductor Jack Bray was ready to lend a hand.
Absolutely. It's the best part of this job.
Armando and Gloria may not be able to see, but their gratitude and vision for their road ahead is clear.
This is one of the best times that I've ever had in my life, really. I'm really glad I get to do this with my fiance.
We're out here doing what we want to do, travel and see family.
Armando and Gloria told me that they were able to find an apartment in Fresno. They said it was a lot easier than finding a place here in the Bay Area. But Juliette, it's going to be a bittersweet goodbye to the Bay Area since they've known this place for so long. It certainly is going to be a very special Thanksgiving for them as they return to live with some of their family and see their family for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we'll have to follow their journey. Take the train to go visit them, Kenny, sometime. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that sounds
Kenny.
good. Sounds good.
All right. Good to see you. Major train issues, though, for BART this afternoon. An electrical fire on the track-filled Civic Center station with smoke. It caused service disruptions for people traveling through San Francisco. Right now, things are getting back on track while crews work to repair the damage and clean the scorched wall. Fire officials say this is all starting around 11:30 today. Trains were forced to single track between 24th Street Mission and Montgomery Street, and the red and green lines were halted. Full service at Civic Center didn't start back up until 2 p.m. Onto some alarming video from Mission Local captured the scene. You can see smoke crawling out of the underground platform and then filling the stairwell. So our chopper captured aerial footage showing the smoke then rising above ground to Market Street. Pretty scary. Look at that. Emergency crews then swarmed the corner of Market and Hyde trying to get to the fire below.
See a lot of smoke coming out from the rail. This explosion, boom. After that, see a lot of smoke coming out.
Well, BART says this was not a mechanical failure. Instead, the transit agency says a foreign object hit the third rail and then blew an insulator. BART riders have already dealt with a series of interruptions just this week. On Friday, apparent vandalism shut down trains between South Hayward and the Berryessa station for hours. And then yesterday, an equipment issue disrupted service on the red and green line during the morning commute. All right, now for people not riding the rails, we're heading right into what's expected to be one of the busiest windows on the highways. So here you go. Here you have it. Here is a live look from our photographer, Jim Flanagan, who's braving the traffic on 101 South heading toward Morgan Hill. So no matter how you're getting to your Thanksgiving destination, it's going to be bumper to bumper. Jim, shout out to you. Thanks for driving. And obviously not in the fast lane either. That's good. Bosses are watching. Let's get to Paul Hagan joining us with what kind of weather you can expect. Hey, Paul.
The fast lane isn't going any faster than any of the other lanes at this point.
That's true. What am I saying?
Pretty much normal for Thanksgiving traffic. And of course, it's going to be slowed down if you are traveling through the Central Valley by all of that fog. Tule fog has been a major issue for the past couple of days. It did dissipate for a little while around Sacramento, but farther south, it was very stubborn. It was stubborn for parts of the Bay Area as well. The North Bay valleys just couldn't get rid of that fog until about 3:30 this afternoon. Just not enough time for temperatures to warm up very much. And we do have dense fog advisories in effect once again up and down the Central Valley and including Solano County. We'll see if some of those maybe are extended into the Bay Area as well later on tonight. So places like Sacramento and Fresno are going to be the travel trouble spots around the state, while farther south, it's going to be great. Temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees in San Diego and Los Angeles tomorrow. Even Monterey getting up close to 70 degrees. Temperatures around the rest of the country, of course, are going to be a little bit chillier for the northern tier of states. 36 and windy in Chicago. Lovely. But wind gusts over 50 miles an hour could result in some delays for any traffic going to or connecting through both O'Hare and Midway. Other travel trouble spots, the northeastern travel hubs. It's not going to be a washout, but there are going to be some off and on showers, and that is likely to lead to at least a few minor delays for anything coming out of Boston, New York, Newark, Philadelphia, even Washington, D.C. If you're staying closer to home, hey, weather looks great. Morning fog giving way to afternoon sunshine on Thanksgiving with high temperatures very close to normal across the entire Bay Area in the low to mid 60s for Turkey Day. We'll look at the entire holiday weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Paul, thank you. On to a bizarre case in the East Bay. Detectives investigating someone for child pornography in Antioch. They stumbled onto a different crime. It happened this morning in the area of Lipton and Hargrove Streets. Walnut Creek detectives from the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force were executing a search warrant when they say they found illegal fireworks. The explosives were safely collected by Walnut Creek PD's bomb squad and Contra Costa Fire's hazmat team, who also determined some other concerning chemicals were safe. One person was arrested on suspicion of possession of child pornography. The man found guilty of a deadly attack on an elderly Asian woman in San Francisco is expected to spend the rest of his life in prison. But he'll have to wait until next week to learn his official sentence. So on January 8th, 2019, Yik Oi Wong was found brutally beaten and robbed at a playground in Visitation Valley. She died from her injuries a year later, and today a judge was ready to impose Keontae Gathron a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. But the official sentencing was postponed. Wong's family was still allowed to read prepared statements, and the victim's family tells us they still want him to take responsibility.
I did not hear him say what I want to hear him say, which is take accountability. And so that's upsetting.
Earlier this month, the jury convicted him on multiple charges tied to a series of violent crimes that targeted Asian Americans. His sentencing is scheduled for next Wednesday. The city of Oakland and the state of California will be named in 2 wrongful death claims filed by the family of an Oakland teacher killed during a CHP pursuit. Castlemont High School teacher Marvin Boomer was struck in May by a speeding car that had been involved in a CHP pursuit in East Oakland. CHP and Oakland police were also named in these claims. Boomer's family is alleging that negligence and other issues led to his death. Their lawyer is asking for tens of millions of dollars from each agency. And if a settlement is not reached within 45 days, the family could move forward with a lawsuit. Boomer's family released a statement saying, quote, "The city's recent changes to pursuit rules have renewed public attention on the dangers of chases that pose to the general public. And for us, this is not a policy debate. It is the reason Marvin is gone." Still ahead right here at 6, some stability for gig workers, how a local startup is making sure that people in service industries have benefits like health care.
It's afforded me the ability to take care of myself, to show up better for this job.
Plus, it's never too early for Thanksgiving turkey, the special meal served up for some seniors in Oakland. Rising healthcare costs have become a key issue in American politics, and the vast majority of people in the restaurant business don't even get employer health insurance. One Bay Area startup is looking to fill those gaps and transform how restaurants provide their teams with the care that they need. Our Lauren Toms has more from San Francisco.
What did we open yesterday? What did we sell yesterday?
Among dozens of carefully selected wine bottles at acclaimed Indian restaurant Copra in San Francisco, wine director Andre Sidnor moves through its evening ritual, restocking shelves, running through pairings, and polishing glassware. It's taken him 10 years to reach this spot in the restaurant industry, where the only certainty tends to be uncertainty.
You're paid $2.13 an hour. There are no benefits. You get what you get with a job in a restaurant is a job where you can potentially make money.
Andre's path to Copra stretched across Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Texas, states where tipped wages are low, benefits are rare, and healthcare is often out of reach. He says San Francisco is the first place where he didn't have to sacrifice his paycheck for his healthcare.
That notion of rub some dirt on it and hope it gets better type of thing, I think up until now, unless I know, my arm is broken or there's something severely wrong.
His experience isn't unique. The California Restaurant Association says 90% of restaurant workers don't receive employer health insurance, and nearly the same amount have no paid sick days, while 2/3 report working while sick.
I didn't totally appreciate, just how difficult it was for these businesses, to workers to work there and not be able to access a benefit that they're willing to give.
After 30 years in healthcare, Tracy Baldwin decided to tackle that gap head on. Her Bay Area startup Rocket Med aims to make healthcare accessible for people who keep the service economy running.
So somebody is feeling kind of cold and flu and they don't know where they can go. Maybe they have insurance, maybe they don't, maybe they're traveling. And this helps them find local, either urgent care providers where they can walk in, get same-day care, very affordable. We don't want them entering the emergency room because it's not life-threatening.
She says employees like Andre under her program are given a card that functions like a health savings account, but without the high deductible or red tape. Andre uses his for therapy, prescriptions, or an emergency fund, a buffer he says he's never had. Tracy hopes the model grows beyond restaurants and into construction and the gig economy. Anyone who may have to sacrifice their own health for their paycheck.
If we can just help a business owner, a chef owner, understand the different mechanisms to give their workforce that they really care deeply about, that's critical to their success, something that really, again, drives this incredible impact and drives retention.
For Andre, it's a protection he's not taking for granted.
It's changed the game, I would say. It's afforded me the ability to take care of myself, to show up better for this job.
Giving him a way to take care of himself as he often cares for others.
Organizations across the Bay Area are doing their part to feed hungry families this holiday. The Salvation Army hosting dozens of Thanksgiving events across Northern California this week. And this was at one of their events this afternoon in Oakland, where East Bay residents of all ages were welcome to grab a plate and eat their fill. And we heard from a couple of attendees about how they decorated their plate.
I like dark meat, turkey, potato salad, greens, and cornbread, and German chocolate cake.
Turkey and the mashed potato, sweet yam with marshmallow.
The Salvation Army says in 2024 alone, they served more than 3 million meals across Northern California. And every holiday season, KPIX partners with local food banks as part of our annual Food for Bay Area Families drive. Today, we're turning to the North Bay to highlight the important work of the Redwood Empire Food Bank. They say rising food prices, healthcare costs, and cuts to government programs have vastly increased the number of people turning to the food bank.
We were super excited to check the mail and receive $2 from one of our generous donors who sent it in to say that they are just grateful to support us. Even though they couldn't give much, it was important for them to give back to the Redwood Empire Food Bank.
If you want to support our Food for Bay Area Families initiative, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and there you'll be able to donate food or funds or your time to food banks across the Bay Area, or just head to kpix.com/give. Coming up, we will have perfect weather for turkey trots and touch football. But what about traveling home from Thanksgiving? Paul's back with the full forecast coming up. Well, we should have beautiful weather for Thanksgiving, but don't plan on lighting up that fireplace. Bay Area air officials have issued a spare the air alert for both tomorrow and Thursday. So let's check back with Paul for the details and what's ahead beyond the holiday.
Yeah, not much change on a day-to-day basis as we head through the entire 4-day Thanksgiving weekend. Looking outside from the top of Mount Diablo, we're starting to see that fog spreading out already. It is going to be a factor as we head through tonight into early tomorrow. The top weather headline is that spare the air alert for both tomorrow and Thanksgiving. So wood-burning fireplaces and stoves, not supposed to use those the next couple of days. Same pattern repeats itself, though. Morning fog giving way to afternoon sunshine. Pleasant high temperatures through the rest of the week, mostly near what's normal for this time of year, and no rain in sight through the whole 7-day forecast. Air quality today was in the moderate category across the board. That's where it's going to stay tomorrow and Thursday and Friday before some improvement maybe on Saturday. Now, in the past, spare the air alerts were only issued when we got into that orange category, unhealthy for sensitive groups. The Air District has changed the threshold, which means it's kind of a balancing act between you don't want to be the boy who cried wolf, but you also want good air quality. So they've kind of changed how quickly those get triggered. It means we're going to get a lot of those as we head through the next couple of months. Looking outside from the Mark Hopkins Hotel, things are looking just fine out there this evening. Temperatures mostly in the 50s, but it's down to 49 degrees right now in Livermore. The warm spots on the map aren't all that warm. 54 degrees in San Francisco and in San Jose. Dog walking weather for tomorrow looks better for our adoptable dog of the day. Opal here needed that jacket in the North Bay because the fog just refused to budge for most of the day. So high temperatures were only in the 50s. Tomorrow, we'll still see the morning fog, but it should give way to afternoon sunshine, even in those North Bay valleys, where temperatures reaching up into the low 60s. I'll put up a link to her adoptable details coming up right after this weathercast. Let's take a look at the fog on our floor map here, and it's going to be pretty widespread to start the day, especially in the North Bay valleys and in the interior valleys of the East Bay, spilling through the Delta and making its way into those inland valleys. A little bit in the Santa Clara Valley. I don't think it's going to take too long for that to dissipate, and any fog around the Bay or at the coast also should not take too long to disappear, and temperatures are going to warm up after the fog is gone. A chilly start to the day, a lot of blue on the map. The blue doesn't really go away in the Central Valley, but around the Bay Area, we mostly managed to warm up to basically what's normal for this time of year, if not a couple degrees above average. Mid to upper 60s in the Santa Clara Valley, some of the warmest spots threatening 70 degrees. Some of the coolest spots will be on the east side of the Diablo Range. Only 56 for Antioch, temperatures in the upper 50s in Fairfield, and only 60 degrees in Concord. Again, it's the fog being a bit more stubborn in those locations, keeping a lid on how much we warm up. Low to mid 60s around the Bay, low 60s at the coast, and mid to upper 60s for most of the North Bay tomorrow, assuming the fog does actually dissipate, as we are forecasting. If it does not dissipate, well, then we are going to be pretty much stuck in that foggy pattern, that cool pattern throughout the afternoon. So we'll keep you updated on that. But for the most part, temperatures are going to reach the low to mid 60s all the way through the holiday weekend and into early next week. Very few day-to-day changes and no rain in sight. That's, in fact, beyond the scope of even a 10-day forecast. At this point, a long stretch of dry weather as we finish November and head into early December. Jules?
Paul, thanks. And when we come back, how much would you spend for a rare Superman comic book? The surprising place this copy was discovered in the Bay Area and how much it went for. Three brothers made a rare discovery while cleaning out their late mother's attic in San Francisco, a copy of the first Superman issue in excellent condition. The comic was recently sold at an auction for more than $9 million. Yes, million. Becomes the most expensive comic book ever sold. The brothers found the comic under layers of old newspapers in a cardboard box last Christmas. The Superman #1 comic was released in 1939. It is one of a small number of copies known to be in existence.
It's one of the most desirable comic books that you could own. It's in the very highest grade. It's the original printing. It has a great story behind it. It's not something that had been in the hobby, sold previously, that anyone knew about. So I think it was just a lot of people got excited because it's just every factor in collecting that you could possibly want all rolled into one.
The previous record for the world's most expensive comic book belongs to Action Comic #1. It sold for $6 million in 2022. I get it, it's pretty cool, but who has $9 million? Who has $6 million? CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Back here in 30 minutes with more news at 7, just for you.